Right, so before I even start, let me just say I'm not some paranoid guy who believes in conspiracy theories or whatever. I'm just a regular dude. I scroll through TikTok too much, order way too many overpriced lattes from Starbucks, and waste hours of my life doom scrolling Twitter. But what happened to me? Man, I still don't even know how to explain it. And I swear, if I could go back in time and stop myself from ever clicking that damn file, I would. It all started one night when I was hanging out in my apartment, just chilling with my laptop. It was around 2 a.m., the kind of late-night boredom that makes you do dumb things. You know that feeling? When your brain goes, hey, let's do something reckless just because we can. Yeah, well, that was me. I'd been watching those YouTube deep dive videos about the dark web, the ones with creepy thumbnails that say, do not search this at 3 a.m., but you watch anyway. And somewhere between watching a video about human experiments caught on camera and another about a cursed website that ruins lives, I found myself in a dark web rabbit hole. Now, before you judge, yes, I knew the risks. I wasn't completely clueless. I had a VPN, a Tor browser, and all that. But what I didn't have? Common sense. I ended up on this forum that looked like it was straight out of a horror movie. The text was all red, the background was black, and there were these weird usernames, people with names like Blood Merchant and Decay Protocol. They were talking about something called the Mirror File. Supposedly, it was some kind of leaked data file from a hacked government server. People in the thread were saying it contained identities of the unknown. Now, did I know what the hell that meant? Nope. But did I still click on the download link like an absolute idiot? Yep. The file was small, just a few megabytes, but when I opened it, my screen glitched out for a second. Not like a normal lag, but like full-on matrix code flickering. My browser closed by itself, and then my webcam light blinked, even though I never turned it on. That's when I knew. I fucked up. My heart started pounding, and I slammed my laptop shut like that would somehow undo what I just did. I sat there, frozen, listening to the dead silence of my apartment, waiting for something to happen. And then my phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. Why did you open the file? I swear to God, my stomach dropped so hard I thought I was going to pass out. I stared at the screen, my breathing getting all shaky. I didn't reply, I didn't even move. And then another text. We see you. Brother, I almost threw my phone across the room. My hands were actually shaking. And then, right when I thought it couldn't get worse, a photo came through. It was me, sitting at my desk, right there, right in that moment. From the angle of my webcam, I shot up so fast I nearly tripped over my chair. I grabbed my laptop and ripped the battery out like that would somehow help, even though I knew, deep down, it was too late. They were already in, they were watching me. I was sweating, panicking. My brain was racing with all the worst-case scenarios. Was this some prank? Some messed-up virus? Or was it something worse? And then the final message came. Just 2 words. Run now. At that point, I didn't need to be told twice. I grabbed my car keys, my wallet, and bolted out of my apartment. I didn't even know where I was going. I just knew I had to get the hell out. But as I pulled out of my parking garage, something caught my eye. A black SUV parked across the street. No headlights, no license plate. And right as I turned onto the road, it started following me. So there I was, gripping my steering wheel so hard my knuckles were turning white. The black SUV behind me, it wasn't just casually driving in the same direction, it was following me. Every turn I took, every random side street I swerved into, it stayed right there. No headlights, no signals, just creeping behind me like some horror movie stalker. My heart was pounding in my chest like a war drum. This wasn't paranoia anymore, this was real. I pulled onto the highway hoping I could shake them off. The city lights blurred past me as I pushed the gas pedal down. 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. But guess what? The SUV matched my speed perfectly. They weren't trying to pass me. They weren't honking. They were just watching. At this point, my brain was going into full survival mode. Who were these people? Was this some dark web hit squad? Some psycho hacker who tracked me down just for clicking a damn file? And then my phone buzzed again. New message from unknown number. I hesitated, glancing at the screen with my breath caught in my throat. I didn't want to look. I didn't want to know. But my dumbass looked anyway. It was another photo. This time, it wasn't just me at my desk. It was me, right now, in my car, from the perspective inside the SUV behind me. I almost slammed on the brakes. I felt this sharp, electric chill shoot up my spine, like my body was screaming, "This is not normal, this is not okay." And then another text popped up. "You can't run, we already have everything." At that point, I lost it. I swerved off the highway onto an exit, barely missing another car as I sped through a red light. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the wheel. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed to be anywhere but here. I ended up in a 24-hour McDonald's parking lot. You know, one of those locations that always feels a little off at night. The kind where there's that one flickering streetlight and some random dude is just standing by the entrance like he's waiting for something that's never coming. Yeah, that one. I parked in the back, my heart slamming against my ribs, eyes glued to my rearview mirror. The SUV, gone. No headlights, no tires screeching, nothing. It was like they just vanished. I sat there, trying to catch my breath. The smell of stale fries and desperation filled the air. My mind was racing, trying to make sense of what just happened. And then, as if the universe hadn't already completely screwed me, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a FaceTime call from an email address I didn't recognize. I didn't want to answer it. Every cell in my body was telling me to turn off my phone and throw it into the nearest dumpster. But my curiosity, my absolute stupidity, it won. I answered. At first, it was just static, a grainy, flickering image. Then the screen adjusted. And what I saw, dude, it was my apartment, Liv, my empty apartment right now, at this exact moment. My laptop, sitting open on my desk. The chair still slightly pushed back from when I ran out. The lights still on, and then the camera shifted. Someone was in my apartment. I couldn't see their face, just the back of their head. They were standing in my bedroom doorway, completely still, watching. And then, like some horror movie nightmare, they slowly turned their head toward the camera. I swear on everything, my entire body locked up. I wanted to move, to scream, to do anything, but all I could do was stare. The person had a mask on, one of those plain white, featureless masks you see in those deep web horror thumbnails. And then they spoke. No distortion, no voice changer. Just a flat, emotionless whisper. "Come back home." Click. The call ended. I sat there, staring at my screen, my reflection flickering in the darkened glass. My hands were so sweaty, my phone almost slipped out of my grip. This wasn't just a hacker messing with me. This was someone real, someone inside my apartment, and they were waiting for me. All right, let me make something clear. I'm not some horror movie protagonist. I'm not the guy who goes back into the house after hearing a noise. I'm not investigating some creepy basement with a flickering light. Hell no. The second that FaceTime call ended, I knew one thing for sure. I was never stepping foot in my apartment again. I sat in that McDonald's parking lot, gripping my phone so hard it felt like I'd snap it in half. My brain was working overtime, trying to make sense of everything. Someone was inside my apartment. They had hacked into my devices. They had been watching me for who knows how long. And worst of all,
I had no idea what they wanted. I needed to think, needed to move, needed to get somewhere safe. I checked my mirrors. No SUV in sight. But I wasn't stupid. Just because I couldn't see them didn't mean they weren't watching. I drove to the only place I could think of, a 24-hour Starbucks. Yeah, I know, not exactly a secure hideout. But I needed Wi-Fi, I needed people around me, and I needed coffee because my adrenaline was crashing hard. I pulled into the lot, parked in a spot where I could see all the exits, and walked in like I was completely normal and not being hunted by some anonymous dark web psycho. The Starbucks was almost empty, just a barista who looked half asleep and some guy in the corner on his laptop. I ordered the strongest coffee they had and sat in a booth, my laptop in front of me. I needed to figure out who the hell was doing this to me. I logged into my email first. Bad idea, because the second I opened it, I saw one new message. No subject, no sender, just an empty email except for the attachment, a video file. I shouldn't have clicked it, I really shouldn't have, but I did. And when it opened, it was footage of me walking into this Starbucks just now, the exact moment I had entered down to the second. It was filmed from outside, through the glass window. Someone had been watching me, following me. My throat went dry, my stomach twisted into knots. And then, before I could even process that, I saw something in the reflection of my laptop screen. Someone was sitting in the booth behind me. I hadn't even noticed them when I walked in.
Slowly, like every horror instinct in my body was screaming at me to not turn around, I tilted my screen slightly so I could see them clearer in the reflection. They were wearing a plain hoodie, pulled tight over their head. Hands on the table. Still. Too still, like they weren't reading, weren't eating, weren't even on their phone, just sitting there, facing my direction. I swallowed hard. My pulse was hammering in my ears. I had two choices: stay frozen and pretend like I didn't notice. Get the hell out of there now. I chose option 2. I grabbed my coffee, laptop, under my arm, and booked it out of there like my life depended on it. I didn't look at them, didn't hesitate. I pushed through the door so hard the Starbucks bell practically ripped off the frame, and then, as I rushed to my car, I saw it, parked just across the lot, the black SUV, headlights off, no driver visible, like it was just waiting. I didn't even breathe, just yanked my door open, jumped inside and floored it out of there. I checked my mirrors every 2 seconds, scanning every street, every shadow, every car. The SUV didn't move, but that didn't mean I was safe. I needed a plan. I couldn't go home. I couldn't call the cops. I had no proof of anything illegal. I had nowhere to go. And then I remembered. My friend Jason. Jason was the only guy I knew who was deep into cybersecurity. He was one of those dudes who had a custom-built PC with 6 monitors and a paranoia level of 200%. He always joked that if the government ever tried to track him, he'd be in Mexico before sunrise. If anyone could help me figure this out, it was him. I sped through the empty streets, taking random turns just in case someone was following me. My heart was still pounding in my chest, my hands slick with sweat on the wheel. Finally, I pulled up to Jason's apartment. It was nearly 4 a.m., but I didn't care. I grabbed my laptop and phone and sprinted up to his door, banging on it like a psychopath. For a second, nothing. Then, a groggy voice. "Jesus, dude, what the hell?" Jason opened the door, blinking at me like I'd lost my mind. Which? Honestly? Fair? "Bro," I panted, pushing past him inside. "I'm in some deep shit." Jason squinted at me, rubbing his face. "Yeah, no kidding. You look like you just ran from a murder scene." I just stared at him. "Jason," I said, dead serious, "I think someone hacked my life." His tired expression faded, his eyes sharpened. "What did you do?" I swallowed hard. I downloaded a file from the dark web. Jason froze. His entire face changed from half asleep to pure horror. Dude, he said slowly, tell me you didn't open it. I didn't answer, because we both knew the answer. Jason ran a hand down his face, already moving toward his desk, powering up his 6-monitor setup like we were in a freaking war room. All right, he muttered. Let's see what kind of hell you just unleashed. I sat down, trying to calm my breathing. Jason started typing furiously, pulling up programs I didn't recognize, running scans on my laptop like a madman. And then, after a few minutes, he stopped, stared at the screen. His face went pale. "No way," he whispered. I swallowed hard. "What?" Jason turned to me, his voice dead serious. "You didn't just download a file." He pointed at the screen. "You downloaded a virus that's broadcasting your location in real time." Jason's words hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. A virus. Broadcasting my location in real time. I leaned over his shoulder, staring at his screen like it was my own death certificate. On one of his monitors, there was a map. A blinking red dot. My location. My exact location. Not just an approximation. Street-level accuracy. It showed the building, the damn apartment number. Bro, I felt physically sick. I pushed away from the desk, my breath coming out in short gasps. "Can you stop it? Shut it down?" Jason's fingers were already flying over the keyboard. "I can try, but this isn't some normal virus. It's advanced, like way beyond anything I've ever seen." I just stared at him, heart hammering. "What the hell does that mean?" "It means," he muttered, typing furiously, "whoever did this." They know exactly what they're doing. Not exactly reassuring. Jason kept working, his monitors flashing lines of code faster than my brain could process. I paced the room, gripping my phone so hard my fingers went numb. Then, another text. "Unknown. Number. We warned you." Followed by another photo. I didn't want to look. I really didn't. But I did. It was a picture of me and Jason, right now, taken from outside his apartment window. I spun around so fast I nearly fell over. My eyes shot to the window. Nothing but darkness, no movement, no figures, just that eerie, suffocating silence. Jason looked at my face and knew something was wrong. "Dude, what?" I shoved my phone at him. He barely glanced at it before jumping up and yanking the blinds shut. "Jesus Christ," he muttered. "They're outside." My stomach flipped. Every hair on my body stood up. This wasn't just online harassment. This wasn't some hacker messing with me from halfway across the world. They were here. Jason moved fast, shutting off his monitors, pulling out his phone. "We need to leave, now." "Where?" My voice came out hoarse. "They're tracking us, literally tracking us in real time. How the hell do we escape that?" Jason didn't answer right away. He was already packing up, stuffing his laptop into a backpack, grabbing an external drive. His face was tight, tense, scared. That's when it hit me. I had never seen Jason scared before, not like this. And if Jason was scared, we were screwed. Before I could say anything else, we heard it. A noise, the doorknob jiggling, not a knock, not a polite tap. Someone was trying to open the door. We both froze. Jason slowly reached over, grabbed the nearest thing he could use as a weapon, a metal flashlight. I grabbed my keys. My hands were so sweaty I nearly dropped them. The doorknob rattled again, and then a soft knock. Not aggressive, not rushed, almost polite, like they were waiting. Neither of us moved. Then a voice. "We just want to talk." No emotion, no anger, just flat. Jason glanced at me. His eyes screamed, "Do not respond." We waited, held our breath. Seconds stretched into eternity. Then footsteps, slow, fading away. We didn't move until we heard the faint creak of the building door shutting. Jason exhaled shakily. "Okay, we need to get the hell out of here." We moved fast. Jason had a second exit, a fire escape, that led to the back alley. Within 30 seconds, we were out, crouching in the shadows. The parking lot was dead silent. The SUV, gone, but that didn't mean we were safe. Jason pointed to my car. No way we're taking that. If they're tracking you, your car is compromised. I swallowed hard. Then what do we do? Jason hesitated. Then, reluctantly, he pulled out his phone. Which, by the way, was an old-school flip phone, like 2005 drug dealer style. "Bro, what is that?" I whispered. "Something that can't be hacked." He gave me a pointed look. "Unlike whatever garbage you're using?" "Fair." He made a quick call, voice low. "Need a favor, big one, no questions." A pause. Then, "Yeah, I'll send the location, be ready." He hung up, pocketing the phone. "A friend is picking us up in 5 minutes. Stay out of sight." I nodded, pressed myself against the alley wall. My hands were shaking so bad I had to clench them into fists. Jason leaned in. "Listen, whatever's happening, it's bigger than just you. I don't think this is just some hacker. This is organized." A chill ran through me. "What are you saying?" Jason's voice was dead serious. "I'm saying you might have downloaded something you were never supposed to see." I opened my mouth, to argue, to deny it, to pretend like this wasn't happening, but before I could speak, headlights, bright, blinding, a car turned into the alley, coming straight for us. Jason tensed. "That's them." I was about to run, to bolt, but then... Jason grabbed my arm. "No," he whispered. "That's our ride." A black sedan rolled to a stop in front of us, the window lowered, and the driver, I had never seen them before in my life, but they looked right at me and said, "Get in. Now, before they find you again." I hesitated. Everything in my body was telling me not to get in that car. Jason had called for a ride, but how the hell did we know this wasn't another setup, another trap? The driver, a guy in his late 30s with a shaved head and hollow, sleepless eyes, just stared at me through the open window. His face was lined with stress, like he'd seen some serious shit. Jason didn't wait. He opened the back door and yanked me inside. The second the door shut, the driver floored it. No introductions, no small talk, just silent urgency. I turned to Jason. "Who the hell is this?" Jason kept his eyes on the road. "Someone who doesn't want you dead." Real comforting. The driver glanced at me through the rearview mirror. "You have no idea what you did, do you?" I swallowed hard. "I just downloaded a file. I didn't even open—" "You opened it," he cut me off. "The second you clicked, it installed a beacon. That wasn't just any file. That was something you were never supposed to see." I felt the blood drain from my face. What was in it? The driver's hands tightened on the wheel. Classified data, stolen from a black site, government experiments, names, locations. He glanced at Jason. How bad is his exposure? Jason exhaled sharply. Bad. They have his face, his info, his entire life. We shut down the tracking, but that won't stop them. Them. I looked between them, my pulse spiking. Who the hell is them? The driver took a sharp turn, weaving through empty streets like he was trying to lose a tail that wasn't there. His voice was low, grim. The Mirror Society. The name made my skin crawl, like my brain recognized it before I did. Jason shifted uncomfortably. They don't exist. The driver shot him a look. Oh, they exist, and your friend just painted a giant red target on his back. I felt sick. What do they want with me? You're a loose end, the driver said flatly. You saw something you weren't supposed to, and now they have two options: recruit you or erase you. Erase. I didn't like how casual he said that. Jason leaned forward. Do you have somewhere secure? The driver hesitated. Not for long, but I know someone who can help, if we're lucky. We weren't lucky. Because at that moment, Jason's phone buzzed. He looked down, and his entire body went rigid. "What?" I asked, my throat dry. Wordlessly, he turned the screen toward me. It was a live stream from inside my apartment. Someone was there again, but this time, they were standing in front of my bedroom mirror, and they were carving something into the glass. I squinted, my stomach twisting. "What the hell is that?" Jason's face went pale. The letters, jagged and uneven, formed two words. "Join us!" the driver cursed under his breath. "They're playing with you now." A chill shot through me. "What does that mean?" Jason locked his jaw. "It means they're waiting for you to break." "Break how?" Jason didn't answer, because suddenly our car slammed to a stop. The driver threw his arm across Jason's chest to keep him from flying forward. I nearly hit the back of the seat. And then I saw why. The black SUV, parked sideways in the middle of the road, blocking our path. The driver's voice was sharp. "Out, now!" We didn't question it. Jason shoved the door open and we bolted into the nearest alley. My lungs were burning, my body running on pure adrenaline. Behind us, footsteps, multiple, fast. I turned my head, bad idea, because I saw them. Not just one person, three, all dressed in the same black hoodies, all moving like they had trained for this. No yelling, no threats, just silent pursuit. Jason yanked me around a corner, nearly sending me flying into a dumpster. I barely caught myself. "Where are we going?" I gasped. "The train station," he panted. "If we can get into a crowd, we—" A deafening gunshot cut him off. I flinched, heart slamming against my ribs. The bullet hit the wall just inches away, sending bits of brick exploding into the air. Jason swore. The train station was too far. We had nowhere to go. And then, out of nowhere, a door burst open beside us. A figure stepped out. A woman, mid-40s, sharp eyes and a calm expression. She held something out. "Keys." "In here," she said, voice steady. "Now." I didn't even hesitate. I grabbed the keys and lunged inside. Jason followed, slamming the door shut just as another shot rang out. The woman locked it, turned to us, and then said something that sent a shiver down my spine. "You shouldn't have downloaded that file." Jason's head snapped up. "Who the hell are you?" She ignored him, looking directly at me. "They won't stop, you know," she said softly. "Not until you make a choice." My mouth went dry. "What choice?" She hesitated. Then she slid a flash drive across the table. "Everything you need to know is on this," she said. "But once you see it, there's no turning back." I stared at it. My fingers trembled as I reached for it. Jason's voice was low, urgent. "Bro, don't! We don't even know who she is." But something in me knew. This was it. The answer. I picked up the flash drive, and the woman gave me a knowing look. "Welcome to the Mirror Society," she said. And then the lights went out,